The campaign noise has settled in West Bengal and the focus now shifts to the ground as phase 1 voting begins. Tomorrow, the first phase will see polling across a set of constituencies where electoral history shows closely contested outcomes and significant shifts in vote share in recent elections. And as voting begins, the conversation is centered around two key questions. How will the SIR factor influence voter behavior, and to what extent does it shape the electoral environment on the ground? One of the key issues that featured during the campaign was the SIR factor, which has been raised across political platforms and by different stakeholders. While the Election Commission has laid down clear guidelines to ensure free and fair polling, concerns and counterclaims around implementation have remained part of the political discourse. And just recently, the SC also invoked Article 142 in the SIR matter and issued clear-cut directives to the EC on allowing only eligible votes and voters of the 34 lakh appeals to exercise their ballot. There is a revised voter list or a supplementary voter list which has the names of those cleared for voting. However, the Election Commission hasn't released the facts of the matter yet, so the SIR becomes an even more crucial cog in the wheel this time around. The second question is centered around voter behavior, whether concerns raised during the campaign translate into hesitation among voters or whether electoral choices were already decided well beyond the polling day. West Bengal has historically recorded high voter turnout, including the 2021 assembly elections, indicating strong participation despite intense political contests. So as West Bengal votes in tomorrow in phase 1, the key question remains: how significant is the SIR factor? Which way is it going to cut? Will the cleaning of the roll help BJP, or has the cleaning of the roll consolidated voters for the TMC? And now it seems like that the ED case is also back to haunt Mamata, because that's a parallel track which is happening. IPAC office is closed in Kolkata. The Supreme Court has said a sitting chief minister cannot enter an ongoing investigation and put democracy in peril. Let me play out the bite of Gaurav Bhatia.
ये तस्वीर जो मैंने दिखाई, कुछ साक्ष्य, कुछ फाइलें, कुछ प्रमाण वहां से उठा लिया, ईडी ऑफिशियल्स को रोका, तो इस पे सर्वोच्च न्यायालय क्या कह रहा है? पहला टिप्पणी है, दिस इज पर से एन एक्ट कमिटेड बाय एन इंडिविजुअल हु हैपेंस टू बी द चीफ मिनिस्टर कीपिंग द होल डेमोक्रेसी इन जेपर्डी। लोकतंत्र को खतरे में डाल रही हैं अराजकता की मूर्ति, जंगल राज का प्रतीक ममता बनर्जी रक्षक भक्षक बन गया। और हिंदी में अगर कहें, यह अपने आप में एक ऐसा कृत्य है जो मुख्यमंत्री द्वारा पूरे लोकतंत्र को खतरे में डालने के लिए किया गया है। कोई सोच सकता है एक मुख्यमंत्री जो संविधान की शपथ लेता है, जो कहता है कि जनता के साथ न्याय होगा, वो आज जैसे अराजक तत्व होते हैं, कानून तोड़ते हैं, जिनको कानून का डर नहीं होता, वो कार्य ममता बनर्जी कर रही हैं। और ये बात भारत के सर्वोच्च न्यायालय की खंडपीठ ने कही है।
Okay, let me straight away go to my panelist. It's a complex election, two-phase. Will SIR work or not? Whether Ghuspatia issue will work or not? Where the welfare schemes of Mamata work or not? These are the issues which we have on our hand. I am joined by Brijesh Pandey, input editor News9, Nirmala Mukherjee, senior journalist, Sameer K. Purkayas, associate editor of The Federal, and Shubhankar Bhattacharya, political analyst. Let me straight away go to Brijesh. You know, we talk about SIR, we talk about so many other things, but there's also one aspect of Mamata, her welfare schemes. Do you think that she will get the same push? You know, we talk about Modi, we say welfare scheme will work. Mamata also has a welfare schemes. Will it work or not?
I think it will work. See, I mean, up to what extent is the question? Because, you know, whenever we have seen any party who is in, like, you know, the government, and if they announces a welfare scheme, or if they continues, does immediate, like, you know, charge up of the money which is there, it benefits because people tend to believe more the government which is in power rather than the government which is promising them the moon. And we have seen several elections like in Bihar where, what was promised by Nitish Kumar hit home the point rather than what was promised by RJD, which was 5 times more the sum which was offered, but it did not materialize. So all those welfare schemes and all will definitely help Mamata, but to what extent is the question? Because if the SIR is the key issue. The SIR remains the key issue.
You think SIR is the key issue?
remains the key issue, and also there is a massive back and forth from BJP and Trinamool Congress about the central forces which are deployed. We saw Mahua Moitra and other Sagarika Ghosh and other BJP, other TMC leaders are tweeting about how the central forces are acting in a partisan manner, and vice versa by the BJP. So role of central government, so central forces is something which has also come up for discussion, but it's going to be a very high pitched and high octane battle, that's for sure.
Nibul, my question is slightly region specific, then you can also take this suo moto. How's Mamata going to do in the northern Bengal? The tea states, the hilly areas?
Excuse me?
Yes.
Yes. The thing is that this 152 seats by 2021, if you go by 2021, it's now distributed almost 90 and 60. A little difference, 92, 85 or like. So in 2021, it was 90 and 60, 60 in favor of BJP almost, and 90 in favor of Mamata. So this is really what I feel is not the pocket of Mamata Banerjee. So Mamata Banerjee's pocket belongs in the second phase. The 108 seats, the Calcutta seats and the surrounding seats, the suburban areas and all these places. My personal take in this matter is that Mamata Banerjee has cultivated such a big negative image which will act as an anti-incumbent factor alongside SIR. Had there been no SIR or no ECI, Mamata wouldn't have got a single issue to combat the BJP. Okay. Whereas the BJP had number of issues. Corruption is one. And you see every day what is happening. What Mamata is doing, Mamata wants to portray herself as a fighter.
Okay.
That is okay. She can always do that. But in any case, this particular phase of 152 seats, in my opinion, it's heavily tilted towards the BJP. So if BJP has to pick up seats, they will have to pick up from here. Because BJP will make inroads in the second phase, but it will not create any impact. So making inroads and creating an impact, these are two separate concepts. So impact may not be that high. Here the impact will be very high. That is my opinion. Okay. And the last time the voting was all over 80%. If this time the swing goes up by another 5 or 7%, which could naturally happen because in all the 3 states that we have seen that have gone into SIR, polling has gone up by 5 to 6%. So here also, SIR creates an additional interest for voting because there is the misconception, if I don't vote, then I may lose my voting right in future. I may be taken out of this country. So that fear is there. Now, what the question you are raising is a very technical and sensitive question.
Okay.
That whether it will affect Trinamool's vote, SIR, or the BJP's vote.
Okay, I'll come to that. Let me just take opening comments from Samir also, and then Shubhankar. Samir, your opening comments?
Yeah, I do agree with Mr. Mukherjee that this phase is a bit tough for the TMC, and more so because of this SIR exercise. Because as you see, the Muslim-dominated areas are going to poll tomorrow, Malda and Murshidabad, and Muslim is one demography that has been solidly backing Mamata for the past several elections. And in the SIR process, they are the most impacted. And in many constituencies, entire voting demography has changed. So that might, create create certain uncertainty for the TMC. in its stronghold of minority belt, because in the latter areas when this elections will happen in Matua areas, that is the areas where BJP will face the brunt of the SR exercise, because many of the Matuas, the Hindu voters name got deleted. But in this particular phase, tomorrow's phase, it's a for TMC it's a
Okay.
tough turf. And as it is, North Bengal is the area, particularly this hilly area. If we minus Murshidabad and Malda, the other areas of North Bengal has been BJP stronghold.
Okay.
And out of 54 seats, they got 30 odd seats last time. So it remains a strong BJP
Okay. Okay.
BJP pockets.
Okay, I'm also joined by Shubhankar Bhattacharya. Shubhankar, thank you so much for joining me. Your assessment, is BJP in a strong position in North Bengal or TMC?
See, the thing is that, of course, see, whenever there is an election, we always have been treating election like a festival of democracy. But this time, it's anything but a festival. The thing is that now this festivity is completely marred with SIR, misuse of agency, the attacks on TMC MLAs and all. So what we are seeing is a ecosystem which is completely designed to aid a particular party. So we are not having anything. This election can be called anything but free and fair. This is not free, this is not fair. At the very same time, if you say that all is lost for TMC, no, the condition is not as such, because the thing is that BJP is not going to have a cakewalk over here just because of an SIR and this thing has taken place. Though, of course, my previous spokesperson were perfectly correct that what we are seeing in Malda, Nondigram, where more than 98% of Muslim voters they have suffered the attack of SIR. So now the thing is that if one legitimate voter cannot practice his right, so is this election should be considered a complete or not? So that will remain in our mind, that will always continue to prick us even after far after this election. Whosoever win, that is a separate question. But the thing is that despite being a biggest democracy, we couldn't deliver a free and fair election to the electorals. So that is one thing which every citizen of India has a right, and that right we can't deliver. So that remains something different. Now coming to the portion that area-wise, of course, with the areas where the backward, not only with Muslims, but all minorities taking into consideration, those have been the stronghold of TMC. And TMC is trying its best to actually deliver the thing to the public that what exactly the center has done over here to organize.
I got your point, Shubhankar. Let me reframe the debate. There are a lot of people who will not get to vote. There are a lot of people who will get to vote. SIR is a very, very big political exercise. In Bihar, SIR did not mobilize voters for the Congress in RJD. Do you think that SIR as an exercise can mobilize TMC's voters?
Well, I think SIR in Bihar and SIR in West Bengal are two completely different examples. We cannot equate what happened in Bihar to what is happening in West Bengal. A. B. What I would say is that basically what is happening is that that the most of the seats in we see the elections are fought in such close such close contests that that there's a dominant feeling. I can say that within the TMC per se is that the whatever the exercise that has been carried out in the name of SIR, the hearing has not been good. I mean the chances of hearing has not been given to people who are objecting or who had even a documentation. Like there were people who said that we have passport. What more proof do you want? We all know how we got our passports. There's a CID check, there's a back check. So anybody who got passport out of fraudulent way is in a matter of investigation altogether. So there are people, and then the Supreme Court has said that they asked the tribunals to please decide on those whose issues are, voting issues are still before you? How many have been decided by them? 136 I was given to understand, and then 500 plus, so it's less than 1000 votes. And you know, then Supreme Court has also said that, you know, in whichever seat the margin of defeat is less than 2% and vote cutting is of more than 15% or 10%, after the result these guys can approach the Supreme Court. So I'm just saying that, you know, that the process could have been handled in a lot better way, you know, without sowing a doubt in the mind of the people or people who are watching it from outside, that, you know, the system is rigged in favor of one party or another.
Mr. Mukherjee, do you agree or disagree?
I don't agree at all.
Okay.
Because Mamata is trying to play a victim card. At the same time, she wants a hero worship. Because she says, it is because of me I have saved 33 lakh voters. These voters were out of 60 lakhs, I have saved 33 lakhs. But she wouldn't take the responsibility of the remaining 27 lakh, of which only 136 name has come. So she wants to portray or paint herself as a savior. This I don't agree with, because you know very well, SIR is an exercise which BJP wouldn't like to give importance in the open, but keeps to itself. And SIR is an exercise which Mamata wants to use it as a political weapon. The number of deletions in Bengal is almost double the number of deletions in Bihar. It was around 6%, 7%. Here it is 11%. In Bengal, 11, a little more. Whatever be the case, what Mamata is doing, Mamata is going into a play of trickery. She is, at every moment, she is objecting. I personally feel that this wouldn't have happened had not the Supreme Court allowed her to plead inside the courtroom. That created the biggest mess. And the logical discrepancies that have come up, they are also being monitored from behind. It is not all AI. A narrative is being said that it's through AI that all these discrepancies have been created. But, that is the main thing. The BLO, the EROs, the AEROs, they play different roles, whatever minimum it is. The discrepancy factor, Mamata knew it very well. She couldn't stop CAA. She couldn't do anything for the walk-off. She couldn't stop SIR. The only way she could stop is to engage people somehow and just twist the process. And she is successful in it. So the question is, those people who are voting, will they feel relieved in voting for BJP? And those people who are left out, will they be aggrieved with Mamata and not vote for her?
Sameer.
The point
Okay, that's your point. Fair point, Sameer.
See, I will not go into the debate of who is gaining in the political narrative, but whether the genuine voters are left out of the democratic, unduly left out of the democratic process. Yes. And is minorities unduly, victimized by this SIR process? Yes. So that is more important. Who is gaining the political narrative is irrelevant here. Most importantly, lakhs of genuine Indian voters are deprived. Recently, I was in Malda and Murshidabad. People were showing documents dated back to pre-independent era, and yet their name is not there in their names are not there in the electoral roll. Can you believe this Mir Jafar's descendants of Mir Jafar, the erstwhile Nawab of Bengal, his descendants' names are not there in the electoral roll. So this entire SIR process has become a farce. It's a joke, and it's targeted towards a particular community. No doubt about that. Advertently or inadvertently, but a particular community has been victimized by this process, and that is unfair for democracy. That's my
very strong statement. Shubhankar?
See, I completely agree with Sameer there. Actually, see, Nirmal Lodha can have his own, vision over there.
Let's not comment on
about
each other. Let's
democracy,
respect each
about-
other. No, let's not comment on each other. Let's respect
we
each
all
other's
are
view.
entitled to have our view.
Let's respect each other's view. What Nirmala has said, he has said. Mr. Bhattacharya, you say what you want to say.
Kartike, the good thing about having all the the analyst over here is that you can have that taste of taking that bit of advantage of having that little
Sab
flavor
kuch hai na,
of
it's like a Bengali
one
thali. It's like a
particular
Bengali thali. You can have a karela, then you will have some khatta, then you have some meetha, then you have some dal, then you have sabzi, then you have mutton curry. It's like thoda bitter bhi hai, thoda meetha bhi hai.
I'll put it more simply. See, a fish can be prepared with curd. A fish can also go into, with sorse. A fish can also.
You can bake it
I'll
also.
enjoy that smile on everybody's
So the fish
face.
is important.
I'll enjoy that smile. But anyway.
But whose fish are we frying? We should only fry the
Kartike,
fish.
what
Whose
is
fish are we
happening
frying?
So, Karthik, actually, what is happening over here? So, the question of what benefits whom, it comes after a very later stage. The thing is that initially, this particular election actually started with, BJP was not targeting to win Bengal at all. Because they started with the campaigns and everything very late. All the groundwork that we have seen with BJP, which remains 24 hours, which always is in a framework of an election going on. This time it was quite a different scenario on the whole. What they were targeting initially was not to win Bengal, but to somehow bring the seats of TMC down to a level where they can actually bridge a negotiation in between. They wanted that to be in open. They wanted, the TMC to be somehow be neck strapped. And so that would have aided them in two ways. One, centrally as well, where they could have controlled the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha in a much better position. So the idea of winning Bengal was actually not there. Slowly what happened, when, bringing Gyanesh Kumar, directly putting him into the election, giving him the targets, and the moment Gyanesh Kumar came up the screen and he said that, okay, see, I guess around 1 crore voters will be deleted. So, when have you seen Chief Election Commission actually taking a sales target on himself?
Okay.
We have not seen this earlier. They have already taken that target.
I think those are strong. I think those are strong views. That let Mamata deal with Mr. Kumar. Na, our job is very simple. Our job is to stay put on the politics of West Bengal, where anyway the jury is going to be out on the 4th.
Politics of West Bengal only. I'm not talking about.
Okay. Nirmala, 30 seconds. Nirmala, 30 seconds. I need to close the show. I need to pass the baton. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I have one small take, just a small take. ECI, according to many, it is politicized. The Supreme Court, since when has the Supreme Court used 142 twice in a gap of 1 month?
Okay.
What does it indicate?
Okay. In fact,
it's a double-edged sword, Nirmala. It's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword.
Imagine
Anyway.
how many cases, just 5 seconds, how many cases have you seen Supreme Court forced to invoke 142 in 1 month?
Okay.
That's also other side.
Exactly.
Which
I
needs
think
more
on this
difficult.
note,
It cuts both ways. It
on
cuts
this note,
both ways.
please, thank you all of you.